Hey everyone, I'm Carolyn. Welcome back to another episode of As I See It, where I talk all things politics and current events. There is another part of Cory Booker's marathon speech that has really stuck with me that I wanted to talk to you about today. And partly because I am finding that his speech has inspired me, it has given me hope, and it has given me kind of a purpose and a new mission. And I want to share that with you today. We'll see if it lasts. So the parts of his speech that are still with me, besides what I shared with you yesterday, are the parts about what to do with our anger, and that if we're not angry enough, we don't love our country enough. Did you guys see that? Here it is.
I just want to talk about anger because I've been all over the place. I read these letters and they make me sad. I read these letters, they make me angry. I read these letters, they make me embarrassed that we're a country where people have to rend their pride and beg for help because of the little teeny modicum of support they get from a service like Medicaid. But I've been saying over and over again, as I've tried to learn from my elders, if I've tried to learn from the heroes I revere, that I learned from my parents that anger is not a bad emotion. It's what you do with that emotion that's important. Does it consume you? Does it drive you to hate other people, or do you allow it to fuel you? Because it was ferocious love that had ancestors of all of ours in this country make it through the insults, no Irish need apply, the injuries of Japanese internments. It's what do you do with those feelings? You're not defined by what happens to you, you're defined by how you choose to respond.
And the other part that's really sticking with me, which I think I shared yesterday, but I'll share it again here.
I said this earlier. Do you think that we got suffrage in this country because a bunch of men on this Senate floor right here put their hands in and said, hey fellas, on the count of three, women get the right to vote. Ready, 1, 2, 3, go. No, that's not how it happened. It happened because of Alice Paul. She was a young person from New Jersey. She broke with the course of human events. Alice Paul, one of my greatest heroes, you know what she did? She caused a heck of a lot of good trouble. She is the first American ever, young American in her early 20s, the first American ever to protest in front of the White House.
He talked about Alice Paul and how she was the first person ever to protest in front of the White House. And in talking about both of these things, and about how to channel our anger and sharing the story of Alice Paul, he talked about how we need to channel our anger into positive, into good, rather than hate, rather than lashing out, rather than name calling. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday, and that's really kind of the theme of today's video as well. But today I have a mission I want to share with you, and something that I think that we can do to start a trend. And the word that stuck with me the most is he said we have to get creative, which is exactly what he did, right? We have to get creative. We have to think outside the box. We have to find ways to fight what's coming, to fight what's happening in very creative ways. And like I said yesterday, we can't necessarily depend on the people that we pay and that we elected to do this, because change never comes from Washington. It comes from the people on the streets. And he talked about how Alice ended up going to jail, and then they called her insane, and women who protest put them in insane asylums and things like that. But the point is, get creative. Do what has never been done before. Channel that anger into something good. And I was thinking this morning on my walk, liberals, we woke, bleeding heart liberals, were the people, before I was born, but were the people who bore the hippie movement. Peace and love and goodness. That's who we are. Yet we have allowed their anger, their paranoia, their all of the ugly, toxic stuff that is inside them, we have soaked that up. We have become that in order to defend against it. We have become the same. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday. But I want to start a movement. And I want you to help me Something happened to me this morning, and I don't know if it's gonna last, but every day I get ugly comments. Somebody called me an ugly liberal C word the other day. You're just another stupid woke liberal. You're a liar. I mean, every day. This is every day for the past 8 years that I have been on YouTube. This has been a reality for me. And unfortunately, back in the day, people were like, you need to grow thicker skin. And I'm like, I don't want to grow thicker skin. But unfortunately, I have. Or, no, you know what? I don't even want to say it's thicker skin. I have done enough work on myself in therapy to realize that their insults are not about me. Their insults say a lot more about them than they do me. And I'm not going to lie, it has taken years to get to that point. And I'm sharing this because I think this is how we all need to go about creatively fighting what's happening. I said yesterday, we are not going to be able to do this alone. We need to open the door for the people who voted for him, who are going to be suffering if they're not already, many of them already starting to have buyer's remorse. We need to show them the way. We need to show them the future that we envision. We need to show them that we are not the enemy, that we are not the ones that they should be fighting against. I've been saying since day one, and I know this from personal experience, from people I know personally who support him, they all have daddy issues. Every single one of them has unresolved daddy issues. And they think this strong-arm dictator, I'm going to fix everything, only I can fix everything, while simultaneously ruining everything. Think about that. Think about people who grew up in very toxic homes with very toxic fathers, right? I am the only one who can fix it. And yet I am the only one who is making it need to be fixed, right? I am going to come home and cause chaos and fear and insecurity. But don't worry, when I'm in a good mood, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it all better. It's unresolved daddy issues. And a lot of anger. And a lot of misdirected energy. They don't know what to do with it, right? And so, and to them, he is a savior figure, right? Daddy. This is the daddy figure they always wanted, because up until recently they didn't feel the toxicity. They didn't feel the effects of his outbursts, right? They weren't on the receiving end of the misogyny, or at least the white women who voted for him didn't think it applied to them. Or this is just par for the course. Oh, that's just boys being boys. They learned to accept that as okay behavior, and that's part of their coping mechanism, right? So the people who have been looking at him as a savior have never been on the receiving end of his abuse, because they've been removed from it for whatever reason. That doesn't apply to me. It's not until you start deporting me, deporting my family, hurting my pocketbook. I'm a farmer. It's not until I'm starting. They were fine with it as long as it was happening over there, right? Daddy is protecting me from the big bad boogeyman over there. And that's what they see. So with that understanding, I invite you to approach their anger with love. Somebody accused me yesterday in comments, and you'll see it. Actually, I'll put it here, of being a toxic positive, toxic positivity, which is a thing, by the way. Those people who are always like, don't have a bad day, just be grateful. Oh, there are no bad people. There are situations. There are just opportunities for growth. That's toxic positivity, and I hate it. And that is not me. I am just in a moment of hope that could totally go away tomorrow. I am inspired and energized by Cory Booker's speech, and I have some ideas, and for me, these ideas and this energy is helping me cope today. It might be different tomorrow. But I really do believe what Cory Booker said, in that if we want to lead our country out of this really, really dark place, we need to be beacons of light and love and compassion and empathy and sympathy. And I know, like I said, this is really, really hard. I am the first one. Look at my Threads feed. I mean, I use Threads to vent, and I have been very unkind there, and I have matched their toxic energy. Not gonna lie, that is what I have done there. And before that, it was Twitter. Before I got rid of my Twitter account, it's really literally where I go to vent. But this morning, somebody left a comment on my channel. I don't even remember what it is now, on my RV channel. Oh, just another lefty lunatic. And I wrote, this is what I wrote. I love you. We are in this together. We are both citizens of this country. I'm paraphrasing. You'll read it there because I don't have it in front of me. And I am not your enemy. The enemy are the billionaires, the greedy billionaires. We need to fight that enemy together. I invite every one of you, let's start a movement. Let us be the leaders in this movement of love and kindness and empathy online. And even yesterday, after I posted the video, I saw several comments. They don't listen. And you know what? It's okay. It might take time. They're not going to all of a sudden be like, oh, you love me? Oh, great. Oh my gosh, I've been so angry and I was so wrong. It's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a long process, maybe years long, maybe decades. It's going to be a while. It's not going to happen overnight. But every major change, every good thing, every bad thing for that matter, starts with one small step. It starts with one Alice Paul saying nobody's ever protested in front of the White House before. So I'm going to protest in front of the White House. And now people protest in front of the White House all the time. It takes one person with enough courage, enough creativity to say, I'm going to do something different. As someone who makes a living online, I have seen the worst of humanity. Well, you see it. Just participating on Facebook, you see it. I live it. It is my life. Every day being on the receiving end of some of the most despicable, disgusting things. You wouldn't believe the things people have said to me. Well, you might if you've been online, but women, of course, get it worse. But maybe it's time to not only change the trajectory of the country through love and kindness and empathy, but to change social media. And whenever someone calls you a name, reach out with love and kindness. And I'm kind of like blowing my mind right now because this is everything my therapist has been recommending I do since I've been on YouTube. And I've been like, no, I want to hold on to my anger. Just like the Trump supporters. I like my anger. It's comfortable. I like it. And now, right now, for today, I'm feeling like I don't need to hold on to that anger. I'm feeling today they're going to test me. Watch. Read the comments in the next couple of days. They're going to test me. But she did respond to my comment. A lot of people don't know how to respond on the comment, so she put another comment, and it was another insult. And I responded back, thanks for the feedback. This is what we need to do. We have allowed them to turn us into them. We have allowed them to poison our compassion, our empathy, our kindness with their toxic energy, with their anger. And they're just people just like us who have unresolved issues and trauma that they have not worked through. And like I said yesterday, they have allowed that unresolved trauma to dictate what they believe, what they absorb, what they gravitate toward. You know, it always amazes me that you can look at siblings in a family and how different those two siblings can be. Growing up in the exact same household, under the exact same conditions, and two siblings can be completely the opposite. And I know a lot of you, I've heard from a lot of you, you've got MAGA siblings. And maybe we can just start to train ourselves to look at them and realize they are victims too. They just handled their pain differently. They handled their pain by thinking this con man, this demagogue, this dictator by thinking, because that is their traumatized brain, and not to mention all the years of Fox News, by thinking that he would help them, that he would make everything better for them. And I feel like the more I'm talking, the more in my mind I'm talking myself out of this empathy and sympathy, because I'm thinking about all the reasons I shouldn't empathize with them and all the horrible things they've done and said and are, and all the danger they have put so many of us in. I'm not excusing any of this horrible. I'm not excusing what Trump is going to do, what he has done. I'm not excusing the blindness to who he is and what he has done. I'm not excusing their not being able to see how dangerous he is to marginalized communities. I know. I am not excusing that. I'm not, unicorns and rainbows right now saying, what I'm saying is that if we want to get out of this, we have to think and do something different than what we have done. For 10 years, since he has come on the scene, we have been fighting back, and we have been there with our anger. And where did it get us? It got us to a second term. We are not going to change anything unless we reach the people who put him there. And anger and bullying and name calling is not going to do it. We need to be creative. We need to be Alice Paul. We need to channel our anger into something good. So that's how I see it. I want to know your thoughts below. Do you have any creative ways that you're resisting? And this is a very creative way of resisting by empathizing, and at least for me. And I'm going to tell you, it's not easy, and I might fall on my face again tomorrow, but I am going to try to do better. There is a hands-off march this Saturday, April 5th, in every community across the nation. This is a nationwide protest. I have signed up for the one closest to me, which is a tiny, 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 tiny little town, a few thousand people, and they are organizing. And so I am going. I've recruited a friend. I will put the link in the video description below so that you can search for an event, a protest near you, and sign up and go and get out on the streets and protest. And remember and remind everybody that this is peaceful protesting. As soon as things start getting violent, we give him an excuse to declare martial law. So we have to remain peaceful. We have to get creative, and we have to find a way. Doing the same thing over and over again is insanity, right? Doing the same thing. What is that saying? Yeah, doing the same thing over again and expecting different results or something like that. We have to do something different. And I think the difference moving forward is the matriarchal approach to, what's the word I'm looking for? The matriarchal approach to discord, but that's not the word I'm looking for. And that's love and community. It is not the angry, violent, toxic, patriarchal approach. That's how I see it. Leave your comments below. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying my content. I appreciate you being here, and hit the thumbs up and click that bell for notifications so you never miss a thing. And anybody who's been around a while, I kind of do these things in spurts as I'm motivated and energized. So I'll see you next time.